Okay, so we're going to do some more problems from 11.6. This is 11.6, and it starts with 42 and 43. You're going to need to follow along in the book because the time it would take me to draw this is probably going to be too much. Okay, so 42 says express the rise and the run of line L, which is the black line, from point 1 to the point P in terms of coordinates. So one thing you see about point 1, it is x, this is x of the first point and y of the first point. Now, they want you to go to line to point P, which is a little further down, and they just labeled it xy. They could have labeled it x of point 2, y of point 2, but they didn't because they're trying to get you to come up with a formula that you use in algebra. And if you look at the green title at the top of the page, what they're trying to get you to do is develop the point-slope equation of a line. Here, let's just take it a step at a time. They want us to do the rise over the run. Remember, that's the slope. Slope is rise over run. And if you remember, you're supposed to subtract the y's on top. And I can write that, subtract y's is change in y. And they want me to subtract the x's on bottom. I can write that as subtract x. Okay, so let's in red fill in some stuff now. I'm going to start with point P and go to P1. So for instance, on the top, I'm supposed to subtract the y's. So I'll say that's y minus y1. If I start with point P on the top, I'll do the same thing on the bottom now when I do the change in the x's. This is just an x on point P. Now I'm going to subtract the x1 that's on point P1. That's what they wanted me to do. It's the red here that is what they were wanting me to find. Make sure you understand all the connections, though, with all these different ways of talking about slope. Now, in 43, they want me to solve this. If you look, this is what we got up front. We have the slope is this stuff in red. So I'm going to copy it down here. And what they tell me to do is solve this thing for y, which means they want me to get y by itself on one side. So in terms of mx, x1, and y1, what that's saying is solve for y means get y by itself. The in terms of stuff means all that other stuff's going to be on the right side of the equation. It doesn't mean I have to do 4 different things. It just means we're going to put a bunch of stuff on the other side of the equation, and we're solving for y. Well, y is right here. I could multiply both sides by x minus x1, like in parentheses. But another thing I can do is to stick the slope over 1 on the left-hand side, put m over 1, and I could cross multiply. That's always a nice way to get, since I had a fraction on the right-hand side, if I turn the left-hand side into a fraction by sticking m over 1, then I can cross multiply and get this a little faster. So I would have y minus y1 on this side, and I'll put my equal sign, and if I'm going to multiply this stuff, I'm going to have to remember to put x minus x1 in parentheses. So that would be m times x minus x1. Okay, this right here is very important. It's what they're talking about in green up there for the title for this section. This is the point-slope formula. You learn it in Algebra 1. You mess with it in Algebra 2, and in Calculus, this is the main way we write lines, is just like this. So this is a very, very big deal here. This is something you would carry you to Calculus here. So now we haven't quite done what they asked. I would have stopped it right here if it had been me writing the book, but I didn't write the book. This is the point-slope formula right here. They ask you to actually take it a step further and get the y by itself. So if I keep going where they want me to do it, I would add y1 to both sides. Okay, that would cancel out here, and I would get y equal m times x minus x1, and then I can't put that y1 inside of there. I just have to put y1 right here. This is what they want on 43, but anyway, I like what's in the green box better because that's a formula you'll learn in algebra. If you didn't learn it last year, you'll learn it next year. Going on, there's some work we have to do here before we continue with 44. We're not going to go back and do 36 and pick up 36 through 41, but we have some information between problems 43 and 44, and it says that that for a sailplane that was back in the exercises earlier, you got a point on its line. There's a line that represents something about that sailplane, and here's the point on the line. And then they tell me the slope is -1/55. So they give me that information. What I'm going to do, I know that I can write this equation now. I can use my result from 43 above to write this equation, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say, okay, if I have the equation y minus y1 is mx minus x1, I'm just going to use what we had in that green box on the previous page because I like it better. It looks more like something you'll see and recognize later. You notice I've got something to plug in x1 and y1. Well, this is one point they gave me, so I could label it this way. This is the x of the one point they gave me, and this is the y of the one point they gave me. And what I'll do now is I'll stick that in. My y1 is 300. My slope, I'm going to stick that in from up here, -1/55. Okay, so I plug in the slope, and then I need to plug in the x1, so I'll write it in red so you can see where I got it. I got it up here at 0. Okay, so this simplifies to y minus 300 is -1/55x. And if I want to do this the easiest way possible, let's now move that 300 to the other side. So I'm going to add 300 to both sides, and I'm going to get y equal -1/55x plus 300. So this is what they actually are asking me to do. This right here is the answer to 44. We're skipping 45. Okay, I put that on course sites. And for 46, we're going to plug in these points, and I'll show you how in class to do this, or maybe I'll make a little video. We're going to see if I plug these points in, do they work in that equation? If the point, I went out of order. It's okay. I'll pick it up. So the points are out of order. This is on number 46. The points are out of order. Comma 280. We're going to and for 46, all we're doing is plugging these points into this equation and seeing which ones of them work. 2 of them work, 1 of them don't. You can do it by hand, or you could type them in your calculator, and I can show you that in class sometime how to do that, maybe tomorrow or in the next class we have. I'm going to stop the video here, and I'll do another one later.